Hi, this is Angie. Welcome to my kitchen. And today I'm going to make meatball, Italian style meatballs. You can go into your supermarket, and what I look for is meatloaf mix. And why I purchased that, it has a variety of pork, veal, and beef. And I like that better than just using all beef. I feel it's too harsh. The meatballs seem too heavy. But if you'd prefer to use turkey, chicken, pork, it's to your discretion, whatever you'd rather use. Okay? So this package is a little over 1.5 pounds. My ingredients are, for this amount of meat, I take about 4 slices of white bread. I cut it in little cubes and then I soak it in some milk. I have 2 eggs. I have panko breadcrumbs, which I like better, and some grated Romano cheese. You can use Parmesan, but I like Romano. And this is a mixture of onions and garlic. It's a medium onion and about 6 cloves of garlic, because we like a lot of garlic, but you can use less or more on your preference. Salt and pepper. And I don't like using fresh basil and parsley in meatballs because a lot of children and adults sometimes don't like those pieces of fresh herbs. So for this recipe, I like to use dry basil and dry parsley. So I'm going to add my onion and garlic mixture. Now before you put your eggs in here so that you don't get a shell, you can crack them in another bowl. And I use 2 eggs approximately for this much chopped meat. I guess you can use egg beaters if you can't eat eggs or you have a problem with that. Okay, so that goes in. And now we're going to get ready for the bread. Now as you can see, this is very moist, very wet. So as I put it in my meatball mixture, I'm going to squeeze as much out of the milk as possible. And then just break it into your meatballs. Okay. And that's done. Now for cheese, I'm not a measurer, but I put in a large quantity of cheese because we love cheese in our family. So I would say this is a good cup. Some pepper. And some salt. I don't put too much salt in this because the cheese is salty, so don't add too much salt. Now this is the dried basil. I put quite a bit of quantity of the dried herbs because I find they give a good flavor to the meat. So I would say approximately 2 tablespoons. Okay? And the same goes for parsley. That was a little more than okay, that's about right. And then I take my panko breadcrumbs. You may need more or less depending on when you're gonna form your meatballs, but so far this looks good to me. And now you're gonna get down and dirty. You're gonna get in here and you're gonna put everything together. And try not to work the meat too much because it has a tendency to become tough. So be as gentle as you can. Okay? Now to me, by doing what I'm doing, it feels just a little soft. But I'm going to work it a little bit more and see, I might need more of the panko breadcrumbs. But we'll see as we go. And my grandson Jonas just joined me because I think, Jonas, you're going to add a little bit more breadcrumbs in here, honey. Put some in. Just a little bit more. Okay, let's see now how we go. Thank you. Jonas may be a famous chef one day, and I'll be working for him. Okay. Okay. Now, what I use to form the meatballs, I used to do them by hand, and sometimes they'd come all different sizes, and I really didn't think that was so nice. So now I've learned to use an ice cream scoop. Now I have two different size scoops. This is the larger one, and I do have a smaller one, but my family tends to like the bigger meatballs better. And if you want to do them freehand, that's fine. You see the consistency of this now? Okay? So now I'm going to take a scoop. I'm going to give it to Jonas. And he's going to roll it for Grandma. Okay, honey? Roll it into a ball and put it right in there for me. Okay? We're going to have lots of meatballs today. And some people prefer them just baked. Some people love them fried. I prefer them fried, but they're really not healthy. So I've been making them baked. And some people can put them raw in the sauce. I've known people to do that also. But every once in a while, we get an urge to taste the fried meatball. And we do fry it. I have to say, it is delicious. And then my family decided they would like some fried. So I'm going to get the smaller scoop of those so they'll cook faster. And then I'm going to fry these. Usually I just use canola oil. But you can fry them in olive oil if you like. Or canola oil or vegetable oil. And don't put too much oil because it'll make them greasy. And make sure the pan is hot before you put your meatballs in. Because if not, they will absorb the oil and they'll be full of grease. Here are the meatballs we made into smaller versions, and we're going to put them in the oil and start to fry them. Just be careful when you put them in. You don't burn yourself. And the oil is nice and hot. And I know people have a tendency to touch something as soon as it gets in the oil, but that's when it's going to stick. So just leave it. Let it cook, and then you're going to turn them. My oven is at 450 degrees. I tend to put it in a hotter oven because I like them to crisp up, but you can start it at 375, whatever you prefer. And we're going to put this in the oven for about, I would say 20 minutes. They should be done. Okay, let me explain to you. Now these have been frying, I would say for about a couple of minutes, and just turn them around, look and see if they're nice and crispy. That's how we like them. Okay, and then get the bottom of your fork. I use a non-stick pan. If your pan is hot enough, you won't have any problem. And just turn them. You see how nice and crispy that looks? And now they have to cook on the other side. And if you make a lot, what I do is I'll make half if my family isn't very hungry. And then I'll freeze half for another time. Here are our meatballs, and you know what I did to rush them up because my family was so hungry? I put them under the broiler for about 4 minutes, so they're nice and crispy. But if you don't like to do that, then just keep it at the temperature in your oven. Enjoy. Bye now.